Welcome everyone. It is February the 28th, 2014, and we've got another brutally cold day going on outside. It's not even going to reach 20 probably here today. We've been down to 0 below almost every morning. We will be that way probably for the next, at least week or so, and we have a major snowstorm coming in. Probably this coming Sunday night and all day Monday. So we're still in the depths of winter, so I'm putting together another little video here just to give you an idea of some of the stuff I use, show you some of the eyepieces and the scopes and such. What I'm showing you right now is my Moonscape Cassegrain telescope by Sky Watcher. This is the smaller of my two telescopes. If you look back to video number 15, I did a segment on the one with the 10-inch telescope setup and showed you what it takes to put together a video for moonscapes. And so this time I pulled out the equipment that I use probably 80% of the time because it's much lighter. And I only like to pull the 10-inch out, the bigger instrument out. When we have something special going on or the weather is exceptionally good, and that's not nearly as often as under normal conditions. What I'm showing you now is the tube assembly. Basically the tube is only 14 inches long. There's a piece of black extension up there on top, which you can see it's got a little white patch on it on the right hand side. That's a dew shield which I built that extends about 10 inches beyond the glass end of the telescope, and that prevents dew from forming on it without using any kind of heat. I don't have to worry about dew forming and using heat, which sometimes degrades a scene if you use too much of it. There's the finder on the side. On the back is there's nothing there now, but that of course is where the camera goes. I had pulled that off. I was in the middle of doing another video, and of course I had another one on my computer dropouts, and I don't know what it is. This time the computer was not even plugged into the wall. It's running off the internal battery. It's cool. It does not seem to be a thermal problem. But I switched over from my backup camera to the camera they actually filmed the moon with, and see if I can get this video together without losing it again. Coming down the telescope here is the main body of the equatorial head. You can see it's much smaller than the Orion Atlas EQG, and then the declination arm with the counterweight on it. Altogether, this instrument weighs approximately 40 pounds. Now that compares to about 100 pounds for the Orion telescope. So that's a big, big difference. I'm going to try. I don't know how well this will work. I think maybe this one, I really shouldn't do this because this might have probably what was part of my problem last time. I'm going to turn the screen so I can see over there. I'm going to take the mic with me if I can do it without dropping a bunch of wires, and give you a view down inside the tube, and let's see if the autofocus kicks in there. Yep. There you can see the meniscus lens. That starts the magnifying process, sends the image down to a 5-inch mirror at the bottom, back up to that silver patch, which is a secondary mirror, reflects the image back down through and out the mechanism in the back where the eyepiece goes, and of course our camera, and that gives us our 60-inch focal length. Now 60-inch focal length gives us plenty of power, and we're working with a telescope tube that's only excuse me while I get myself settled here. It only gets again, like I said, the tube is only 14 inches long, and you can get extremely high power using, 5 and 3 millimeter eyepieces. So it's an advantage, and the quality of this telescope is exceptional. The images on this telescope are very, very sharp. I really, really like this instrument. It's a great instrument for the project that we are doing on the moon. As I say, it's probably used 80% of the time. The mount, it's not as sturdy, and it is reliable, or quick acting as the Atlas EQG. If you remember, if you go back and take a look at some of my other videos, there's sections of the videos when I try to move the telescope in reverse from where the direction I'm going, and there's a long delay and backup time before the gears catch up and take over and take the telescope the other way, and that is caused by the gears. See that little round circle? There's that silver circle, which is fairly large, which is the setting circle of the telescope, and then that little brass-colored circle is actually a gear. That's the main gear for the RA drive of the telescope, and this telescope is powered by 3 flashlight batteries, which is another nice thing. I don't need a lot of heavy powering equipment to drive it. So it's a nice instrument. It's easy to move around, easy to set up, and like I say, it's used most nights, unless we have something special going on, and unless the night is going to be exceptionally clear. I will use this instrument instead of the 10-inch instrument. Now, as I said during some of my videos, I'm going to try moving this camera and setting it up so we can look at my set of eyepieces here. Let's see what kind of view I'm going to get here. I may have to do some fiddling around here. Let's see. I'm zoomed way out, so let's get zoomed back in and get a little better view of, let's see, that's probably a little much. Let's back up a little bit. These are the types of eyepieces I use. These two right here, let's see if I can get them together. Maybe if I set this down here. And of course now I've got somebody out in the hallway of our complex sweeping, which is going to create some noise for me. Let's move these back so we can see them a little better. These are the eyepieces that I've been using most of the time. They are Orion 68-degree eyepieces. You can see they've got a large field lens, and they work wonderfully. They do a really nice job. But recently, I've discovered another set of type of eyepieces which I've started using, and that's this set right here, which is a set of Meade eyepieces. These are also wide-angle eyepieces, although they're not as wide as the Orion. Orion, as I said, are 68-degree field of view. These are 60 degrees. And they are made of one element of ED glass, which is extra dispersion glass, which is it's a much better optical glass. And there are a total of 6 elements in this eyepiece. Now I've tested this. Let's see, this one is the 6.5 millimeter, and it gives fantastic images. And I'm going to show you this one. It's going to look a little bit odd for a second. I'll explain why. This is the other same eyepiece type. It's a Meade 9 millimeter, but you notice I've got some green felt wrapped on it. And the reason I've done that is because one night when I was imaging, I was using also the Orion set of eyepieces. And the Orion set of eyepieces are broader. They're a larger diameter than the Mead. So instead of doing a lot of twisting and turning of the mounts in the camera, I built up the size of this eyepiece with a little felt, and it just made it easier to make the changes between eyepieces. I'm just trying to check the time on my video, and so I'm still working pretty good. Checking the heat on the computer, it still seems to be pretty cool. There is some warmth there in the back, and I don't understand that because the computer is running off the internal battery and not the power from the wall. But this is mainly the main set of eyepieces I use. Actually, there is one more. Let's see, this one right here is 13 millimeter. This one here is a 5 millimeter, a high power eyepiece. This is the Mead 6.5, which is almost a little less power than a 5, but not by much. And then this is a 9 millimeter Mead, the one that I built up to make it easier to interchange. For some reason, these Mead eyepieces, and they are only $79.95. They're $80 eyepieces. That's an extremely cheap price. They work extremely well. They give wonderful, wonderful images for the price. And I actually like using them so, more so now than I do the Orions. I still do use the Orions, and I'm going to do some more experimenting when the weather gets a little better as the spring comes in. And we're going to try working them with some Barlow lenses for higher power. There's one thing that I really want to accomplish that I was unable to do during last spring's summer and fall observing season was I wanted to observe the crater pits in the floor of the crater plateau. There are a bunch of crater pits in that floor, around a mile in diameter and smaller. I've managed to observe visually with an 8-inch telescope 2 or 3 of those pits on a very, very calm night, but I've yet to image them. And that's something I do want to do. It's going to take a night of extremely good seeing. We're going to need to use a Barlow lens and either my 6.5 or my 5 millimeter eyepiece, the higher power eyepieces. And we're going to either need to use the 2 or maybe even the 3 power Barlow. And then we will run those through. We may or may not see them live on the screen as we're imaging. I'm not sure how that will work out. I may have to wait until I run the series of images through Registrax. I have a habit of when I go off the air for the night, I go back into the photo package and I use the system and take series, roughly 900 to 1,000 frames of different subjects I want to work on the moon, and then go back into Registrax, process them, enhance them, and get some really nice sharp images. I'll have to one of these times put a presentation together where I can show you those images. But that's one of my goals for this upcoming spring, is I do want to be able to pick up those craterlets within the floor of Plato. I have not done that yet, and that's something I really would like to. And then there's another couple of objects on the moon I'd like to get a closer look at. I really enjoy looking at these so-called lunar cities from the old-time observers. I'm fascinated by those. back with the story with Gerstein when he discovered the so-called white cities of the moon, and the so-called Selenites. That's a fascinating bit of history if you have time to go back and get a book on the moon and study some of the lunar history. It was really quite a story, and it caused quite a ruckus for some time. But those areas of the moon are very, very interesting to look at. They tend to have dark patches on them, and it's the dark patches that these observers were looking at, and thought that they were seeing vegetation and other structures, and they were actual cities. Of course, they were not. We know that now, and we've sent probes up and have close-up pictures that show that it's just geological formations. But it's fun to go look at those and take a good look at them, and look at them as the old-time observers did, try and use a power that'll equal about what they were looking at when they were observing these so-called cities, and see just what it is they were seeing. Okay, guys, that's about it. As I said, I don't have much going on right now. This winter's really whacked us. Haven't been able to put much together, so just wanted to throw this together and give you a little look at that telescope. I don't think I had given you a good picture of that before. The Schmidt, Schmidt-Newtonian, and let me close in on it a little closer. As I say, it's a very, very nice telescope. By the way, the telescope is a Sky Watcher. I bought just a tube assembly from Sky Watcher, and this lower part, the mount down here, is an Orion product. I buy a lot of my stuff from Orion. This mount's a nice mount. It's great for general observing out under the stars. When you put an object in it, it'll track it, so you don't have to, follow it across the sky by hand by moving buttons, and it'll track it nicely across the sky. It's just when you're doing photography like we do with the moon, and we need it to react very, very quickly. This mount has a little bit of a problem with backlash, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time to recover and get the telescope to go back the other way. But other than that, it's a great instrument to use. I really enjoy using it on the moon. And at 5 inches, it does a great job. It doesn't show an awful lot less detail than my 10-inch does on a good night. The quality of the images are exceptional. So with that, guys, I'm going to say I'm going to sign off now, and it's going to be a little while. This weather pattern looks like it wants to hang on for a while. I think it's going to hang deep into March. So I'm not sure exactly when we're going to be getting back out and taking live images of the moon. I know April 15th we have a full lunar eclipse coming up. Unfortunately, totality takes place about 3 o'clock in the morning. But I've got a plan working in the back of my mind where I'm going to do maybe 5 or 8 minute segments of the moon as it's going through the eclipse. We'll do it early in eclipse, part way through eclipse, close to full eclipse, and then when it gets into total eclipse, the northern part of the moon is going to be much deeper into the shadow, so there should be a nice cutoff point where the moon will be nice and red in the northern part of it, and a lighter pale, maybe a cream color like on the bottom. It should be a very pretty eclipse. And we'll do a nice segment on that during the eclipse. And again, that's of course if Mother Nature agrees with us and wants to give me a clear night. I have a tendency to get many cloudy nights when I want to do something astronomically. Okay, with that, guys, I'm going to sign off and say good health to you guys, clear skies, and I hope to see you fairly soon with a live video actually out under the skies and on the moon again. Take care, guys. See you soon.